Hi, Dr. Ruth here. We're going to take last week's assignment, covers and themes, and we are going to select the cover and working page that we want to take forward with us so that we can add our work to our portfolio. So all I have done so far is file open, and I went and opened the portfolio from last week. And then I went to File, Save, and I saved it as week 3. We have two covers to choose from. We have this cover and we have this cover. You have received feedback from your instructor about which cover you should go with. In this case, we've chosen to go with the second cover here. So what we want to do is, in our new document, is delete the pages that we don't need. And we simply are going to go using our control panel, pages, we're going to select this first cover and we're going to go down to the trash can here. It's going to make sure that you're wanting to do that. We do. You can see it's moving everything up, and I'm going to hit the trash can again and say OK. And I'm going to hit the trash can again and say OK. So now you can see that this document has moved up. You also can notice that this no longer has the pink cover on it. When this shifted up, and I'm going to do a control minus so that we can see this screen better, we can see that this, when we did this cover, we did it as a spread all the way across the pages. Now I want to correct this and also check my layers to make sure that everything's on the appropriate layer as I go forward. So in order to check the layers, one of the things to do, I've got A selected, so I know everything's going to show up there, is if I turn off the eyeball, I can see what's on each layer. And I can see that on my text layer, I have an image, and I really would like that to be probably on the background in this case, since this is the background image that we use. And then on the background, I can see that that has that pink cover, and I can also see my little dot over here. So I'm just trying to get an idea of how things are laid out here. So the first thing I'm going to do is my layers don't appear to have anything, or my image layer does not appear to have anything on it, so that's fine. I'm actually going to lock it down for right now. My text layer does appear to have something on it that I'm not so interested in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the twirl down for this, and I'm going to go over to the end here and select that oval. And so I'm selecting these things in the layers panel, but I also could just select them on the page. It's just that sometimes as you have layers sitting over layers, you can't always quickly select what you want. In this case, I can glance here and I can see that since this is the only thing that's lit up, that is what I have selected. And so I'm going to now, with that selected, go up into the ribbon, Edit, Cut. I'm going to cut it from that page, and I'm going to select the background layer, and I'm again going to go up to the ribbon, Edit, Paste, and Place. I want this to be exactly where it was before. And so now I have those. If I do the twirl down, we can see all of those different layers, and there's that oval that I've put in place. Now we may want to have that be in a back position, so we could go up to Objects, Arrange, and we could send backwards. And watch over on the right in the Layers panel, and you'll see that Send Backwards just sends it down one layer. Again, Object, Arrange, Send Backwards. That may be not far enough. I'm going to send it down one more layer. I kind of like it there, so I'm going to leave it in that placement. If I had have done Object, Arrange, Send to Back, it actually would have sent it all the way behind the text frame that we have filled with color, and that's not what I'm interested in. So I'm going to Control Z to return that to that middle section there where I like it. I'm also going to do the twirl down. I'm going to change the twirl down on this. So now when I turn off that layer, I can see the only layers that I have are text layers. We can identify that those green boxes are on that text layer. And again, we know that there's nothing on that layer. So I'm going to turn this one back on. Now I have to deal with the fact that this has a long spread across it. You can't identify it here when we just click as easily, but when we do the Control minus, we can see that that is going all the way over onto the edge. So what I want to do is, with my black arrow tool, I'm just going to click on that. I'm actually going to go up into the ribbon. I'm going to do Edit, Copy, and I'm going to come down to this spread, and I'm going to do a Control V or Paste, and I'm going to paste that onto this. And you can see I need to do a little bit of sorting to get that into the right position, and that one's in place. I'm going to do a Control-0 so I can really zoom in because I can see that this really is not quite fitting how I'd like it to. So I'm going to drop this down. Again, I'm going off the page and onto the bleed so that I do not end up with any white borders if I were to print this portfolio. Look at the top and bottom looks good. And on the edge over here, we're not quite out to the bleed. And now we are. So I like the looks of that. And now I'm going to double click on this one and I'm going to Control-0 so I can see what's going on there. I'm actually going to Control- so that I can come over to the edge of this one with my black arrow tool. I want to get this so this is fitting onto that page. Again, I'm coming out to the bleed because I want to make sure I don't end up with a little extra white edge. So now we have a cover that we can move forward with, and we have a page here that maybe we want to do a few extra things with. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the cover. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to do Edit Copy. And then I'm going to come back to this page. And if I do an Edit Paste, that is going to just pop that right into the center there. And what I'm thinking is that I want to do something, and you can see that I'm not taking that out to the bleed, I'm taking that to that inside corner there. I'm also going to do a paste again, and this time I use a shortcut key of Control-V, that'd be a Command-V if you're on a Mac. And I'm just going to shrink this one down a little bit and set it on top of that because I kind of like that idea of a diagonal line. It implies action. And then I'm also going to grab this text box. If you look over here, you can see that that shifted me automatically to that text layer. And I'm going to bring that text box up and go forward with that. I also think that I would like to have a blue dot over on this page. So I'm going to Control Paste again because I still have that same image. And I don't like the way that changed the shape of it. So I'm going to Control-Z to get that back to that size and more carefully reduce that down from the corner so I don't end up losing that. And I'm going to put that down in the corner, and I'm going to Control-V again. I'm going to Control-Z because I don't like the way that's copying in. I'm going to copy this one, Control-C, Control-V. And again, I'm going to shrink that down a little more, and that does change the shape of it. I don't think I'm opposed to that, but I think I'd like that to be behind the other one. So again, I'm going to go up to Object, Arrange, and I'm going to send backwards because I only want it to be one move backwards, and that is how that would look. So now I've got my portfolio cover and I have working pages. So now I would be able to move forward and bring in assignments and start laying this out. I may make changes to this template as I see how my work fits into the page, but at least I've got a starting point here. The next move is to make this into a master so that you can quickly move forward without making any alterations to your background. That's set for now.